Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts, Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together, they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
Sometimes we have a soundproof studio and sometimes we don't. There's a lot going on around us today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tim?
Doing all right.
Happy January.
Yeah, enjoying the snow.
Lots of
We're
snow.
supposed to get a lot of snow this weekend.
Lots more coming.
So the basis of this show is really volunteerism, being in the community. It's called In the Neighborhood because it's like people are just in the neighborhood and come by and see us and we sit down at our table and talk. And that's really what we're about.
That's right. I thought you were going to sing for us today, Tim.
I'm not going to sing it. These are the people in the neighborhood.
Boo. Boo.
Not that, I was just doing it. So, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Today our guest is Patti Rios Smith of Gold Star Families. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Patty's a friend, fellow realtor, or was a fellow realtor with us, or with me. Well, maybe.
And you've been here before, more importantly.
Yep.
So we're going to share some more information, huh?
So what is Gold Star Families?
Well, actually, the name of the organization is America's Gold Star Families.
Okay.
We did start out with the name Central Illinois Gold Star Families. Not only was that a mouthful, our mission expanded as we went on, so we changed it to be more generic and inclusive. So America's Gold Star Families is our name.
Okay. So what do you do?
Well, our mission is to provide honor, hope, and healing to those grieving any military loss. We do that through a variety of programs and services, but while we have the structured programs and services, we also are here to come alongside and meet whatever needs our families of the fallen have. There is no other organization of our kind in the region, and before we came along, we have survivors that go back as far as World War II, and our survivors from World War II and Vietnam both have told me that when they experienced loss, there was no one there, and it was hell. That was their words. Just people went on, and as you know, as human nature is, after the funeral, people do forget. But we are here to come alongside these families and let them know that we will never forget and that we will find creative ways to remember and bring that remembrance as an awareness to the public. And that's their number one request, these families, is don't forget. They need to know that their family's sacrifice was not in vain and not forgotten. And keep in mind, that sacrifice is for every one of our freedom. So that's significant.
You know, it's kind of interesting to think, we always think, thank you for your service to a military person, but really it's the whole family that's involved, especially when a death happens like that.
A lot of people don't know what to say. They feel awkward, and that's natural, and I used to feel that way too. But the correct thing to say is thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your loved one's ultimate sacrifice. And they appreciate those kind of comments.
Wow.
You brought some things to share with us.
I did. This is called a service banner. I'm proud mama to Marie. A lot of people ask me how I got involved in this, and a lot of people misunderstand and think that I'm a Gold Star mom. I am not. I was a double Blue Star mom, and what that means is this is a service banner, and I had two sons that served in the Marine Corps, so they enlisted within 6 months of each other. They were soon deployed together. One went back for a second tour. So during that time of active duty, this hung in my window. We do say that when your service, when you give your life in service to our country, your star turns to gold. Okay. And this is a gold service banner. And so whenever I hear of a local casualty, I visit that family and I present them with one of these.
Wow.
And I just visited one recently, and there it was in their window. They can choose to do with whatever they want, but a lot of them keep it on display in some area.
So how does one get these banners for when they have family members that are serving?
I get mine at Peoria Flag and Decorating.
Okay.
And if they don't have, they have a lot in stock, and if they don't, they can order. That's been my best source. You can get them online too, but that's where I get them locally.
Awesome. And you do have an amazing story, so will you elaborate on how this all got started?
Okay, well, thanks. Well, as I mentioned, I had a crash course in the military community. I never was around it. Military service never affected me personally until this stage in my life. And so it was a crash course. It was an entire new world, a subculture of our American culture. And the Marine Corps in particular is even yet another niche. But I was totally against my sons enlisting, as most mothers are. And I love my country, but let somebody else. So when they enlisted, I went with my first son to enlist because I wanted to know what it was about. I had always been an involved mom. I was a homeroom teacher, Sunday school teacher, camp counselor, cheerleading coach, just whatever they needed. So then when they did this, it's like, well, I need to do this too, but I have no idea what it is. I just knew I wanted to be the best Marine mom that I could be and support to my sons. So after they enlisted and such, to keep my sanity, while the first one was deployed, it was Christmas time. I went to my husband and I said, I don't need it. I just felt ashamed of everything that I had. I felt guilty asking for anything that Christmas because all I wanted was my son to come home alive. And so I went to my husband and I said, listen, I've got an idea. Let's not exchange Christmas gifts. We don't need anything. We're blessed. Anything we need, we can go out and buy. Let's give my son and his platoon of 40 Marines Christmas packages. Oh. So I had no idea how to do that. I did some research, came up with a short list of what troops overseas needed, and I laid awake at night. How am I going to get enough stuff for 40? Well, enough came in for 120.
Wow.
And the next year, 10,000, and the next year, 20,000, and the next year, 30, 40,000, 40,000. And I resigned in it was called Operation Santa. I and a group of people started that, but I ended up taking leadership for it, fundraising. I mean, and we had a lot of growing pains, as you can imagine, to go from 120 to 10,000. We were running out of product, donations. We weren't 501c3 yet. People like to give if they can get a tax donation. But anyway, I ended up resigning in 2010, but to this day, the project is still going on. There's leadership in Bloomington, Illinois over it. And I've lost track, well over 210,000 have gone around the world, which is just incredible to me every time I hear that. It started to Iraq, it was Iraq, Afghanistan, Qatar, Kuwait, Bosnia, Djibouti, Japan, South Korea, Algeria, to name a few. So I resigned in 2010, and I went to Washington, D.C. for the summer and served an internship at the White House Commission of Remembrance. I didn't know it, but this was going to be the turning point in my to lead me to where I am today. We worked in, our office was a block from the White House. I'd take a little sack lunch, tuna salad and potato chips and walk down there and eat and just marvel at the magnificence of our country, the power that we have, and that it was all coming from inside that big, beautiful mansion. So we had ceremonies on a regular basis, weekly basis in Arlington. And we would get phone calls from families of the fallen. And like I said, that began the turning point. So I came back the end of that summer, went into real estate, but it didn't leave me thinking that could have been me. And what is there for our families? And I looked around and I asked around and there was nothing. So I tried to get other people, you need to do this. You know what you need to do? You need to do this. All I know is I had this huge thing laying on my heart. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what to do, but I just knew something needed to be done. And I would get frustrated at those people. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself. So I went and made contact, set up a meeting with a handful of Gold Star families that I knew. And I said, listen, I don't care if we just help 3, 5, 7 people. We are the only organization you will ever meet that does not want to grow, but is doomed to. So it wasn't like, let's see how many members we can get and this and that. We're just here to help whoever wants to be helped. Because some people in their grief journey, they choose to go away and never be heard from again, and we respect that always. But a majority of them are starving for as I said, our mission is to provide honor, hope, and healing. They're looking for ways to be healed. How do I go the rest of my life and not go crazy? How do I go the rest of my life and not let this destroy me and not be the person that my loved one would want me to go on and be? So we had this meeting, and we just said, okay, well, let's just see, let's agree to go forward, tell everybody you know. When there's a new casualty in the area, at least will be something and somewhere, some entity that they can come to. By the way, we are our own entity. A lot of people think we are a chapter of a national organization. We are not. We have no intention of starting chapters in other, that's a whole other animal, quality control. I'm too old. but my mission is to just take care of those brokenhearted in Central Illinois. But a lot of people think that we are. There's a lot of other, I've had people say, are there other organizations like yours out there? Yes and no. There are a lot of other organizations, but they are Gold Star mothers, Gold Star wives, Gold Star dads, Gold Star siblings. Or sometimes they're just for Vietnam. So we just wanted to keep it broad because the whole family hurts. The grandmas, the grandpas, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. Sometimes there's family members or friends of families that are like family members. We're just here to help all of them and to remember them. So I was working, my job, is doing very well at it, very successful, got a lot of awards that first year. And but this started growing far beyond, just like Operation Santa. It just started growing in ways I never thought possible. So we had our first, in 2013 is when we started, we had our first event called Commemoration, and it was the first Saturday in October. I didn't know how it was going to go, how it was going to be. We had a speaker, we had a solemn ceremony, and it ended up being a great success in terms of what we had set out to do. And it was so successful, some of the families were coming back saying, that was awesome, can we do something again soon? I was like, well, Christmas is coming up. Well, maybe I got, 6-7 weeks to pull something off there. Let's see what we can do. So by the way, this leads to our governance. I'm coming back to Christmas. Don't let me forget that because I might. Our governance is we have a board of directors, but we serve under a Gold Star Advisory Council. And we do that to ensure that we are always meeting their needs, that we are not doing anything outside of what they would like, so that they always have the freedom to say, you need change direction, do this, don't do that. And that's worked out very well for us. So I called together my Gold Star Advisory Council around my dining room, and I said, hey, I got a great idea. Let's do something for Christmas. And every one of them did like this. And I was like, what'd I say? And one of them barely whispered and said, the holidays are really hard for us. Mm-hmm. I felt so stupid. I felt insensitive because I'm thinking, like most of us do, yay, Christmas, fun, presents.
Exciting.
I had never, ever thought of it the way they think of it. And so I got quiet and I said, all right, let's do this. Let's try it. Our mission will be to come together to get strength from one another to go into the holidays. And if it doesn't go well, we'll never do it again. Would you give me that chance? And they said yes. So we had our, fifth one just this past December. We have well over 100 people. It's come to be an annual tradition, an event. I had the bell choir from First United Methodist come. Last year, the Madrigals from Dunlap High School came. And they just really, it's a potluck, so they're invested. I hire a caterer to provide the meat, dessert, and we provide the paper products. They just need to bring a big dish to pass. And we always have gifts for the children, and those are provided in part by SEFCU. Thank you, SEFCU. And but then, because it's Christmas, everybody gets a gift. So I find something creative to give to them. And it's a love fest. We just come together and love and remind each other that, and there's always new ones. There's always new ones. So the point, we have 4 annual events. I've listed 2 of them. The point is always to bring them together to meet others who have experienced similar loss, because that's where another avenue where healing comes in. Mm-hmm. We have a 5K Run for Fallen Heroes. It's always the Saturday before July 4th. That's no accident. And it's our only fundraiser of the year. And our other is we have a spring fling. This was one of the requests from the Gold Star Advisory Council. We do allow media to our commemoration because we want to bring public awareness, but there's no media allowed at the Christmas potluck. So those are the kinds of decisions they make for privacy.
Wow. It's these are the people in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is Peoria is an amazing. We're struck by it all the time of people that just see a need and go for it, and you're an example of that, and that's something we're pretty proud of.
Well, I believe that to whom much is given, much is required. It never leaves me that I could be one of them. Who knows why? Mine came home and theirs didn't. But this is the least we can do for those who navigate this life with a broken heart. For my freedom, this is very deeply personal for me. And I was never aware of that till my son's enlisted. How did I get that old in life in America, in Midwest? But it happens, and it happens to others. And I've had people come up to me and say, don't you just get mad at other people who don't get it? And I go, no, because I used to be one that didn't get it. And it was purely innocent. I wasn't being a brat. I didn't mean to be, but it's just the way it was. Well, I wanted to read to you. And so 2016, I left the real estate business, and I do this full time. That's a funny story, too, because it's just been growing on my heart. My heart wasn't even in real estate. That last year, I was doing 2 full-time jobs. If you know how that goes, you don't do good service to either one. We do that. I was getting really spread thin, but my heart was truly here. So after our commemoration that year in 2016, we took our speaker. It was a wonderful weekend, dynamic speaker. It was Kevin Lays, and he had been in American Sniper. He started out as a consultant, and Clint Eastwood said, hey, you get in here. We want you to be in the movie. And he was so down to earth and sweet. And so we took him to the airport, came home, and I sat down in our living room, which was just a sitting room. We never sat in there. And I told my husband, I need you to come here and sit beside me. And he turned white. He thought I was going to ask for a divorce. And I said, I've got to leave my job. I can't do it anymore. My heart's not there. And he goes, oh, Patti, think of the money we're going to miss. I said, I don't care. I could care less. I'm done. As of today, I'm done. And I know this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm asking you to process that, because men need to process, and process that, and we'll come back and talk about it. But I know this is what I'm called to do. And I'm going to work full-time pro bono. So, and this is my giving back. I want to spend the rest of my life giving back to these people. The word hero is just thrown away. The way I see these people work through their grief year after year, remembering the anniversaries. I don't know how they do it. They go to work, they have their Christmases, they remember the birthdays with the empty chair. It'll never be enough. It'll never be enough, but we've got to try. And, as you mentioned, our culture, the Midwest, Central Illinois culture, is so giving and generous. We are facing unprecedented economic hardships. People are still stepping up to give.
Yeah.
And I love that about our area. So, so some of the things that we do, what we have accomplished, let me find my list. We, if you haven't been to the Walmart on Allen Road recently, check that out. We've got a wall of honor.
Oh, cool.
The manager was good enough to let us put up pictures of our fallen from Central Illinois. So that's up there. In case you didn't notice, for the first time, hometown hero banners went up on Orange Prairie. And there's 4 down by the courthouse, by the war memorials, and these honor our fallen. They go up in May. They're taken down late October. And kudos to Eunice Printing, to the mayor, to the city public works. They all work together. They do all the labor, and they don't charge us anything. That's huge. This project could not have been done without their cooperation. Be an idea, gathering dust. So, and so many of these are like the Wall of Honor. C.T. Gabbert painted it, prepped the wall. Signs Matter. They came up and did the wording. The manager of Walmart, who gave us permission, team project. Scholarships, we award $1,000 scholarships to children, to families from Illinois, and in 4 short years, we've awarded just under $20,000.
Wow.
Route 6 has been designated as Gold Star Families Memorial Highway, thanks to Darren LaHood giving leadership on that, and Chuck Weaver, and everybody who voted, 100% for it. In Tower Park, the Village of Peoria Heights let us erect a Gold Star Families Memorial marker, and every Memorial Day weekend, they turn their waters to gold in honor of our families. They only
Wow.
do that like a few times a year, and we're blessed to be one of them. And we work with legislators for a lot of the highway designations that are in the region as well.
We've got just a minute left or so. What are volunteer opportunities that how can people get involved?
If you are an Amazon shopper, please log into Smile Amazon from now on, and every purchase, you can designate us as your charity, and 5% of every purchase will go towards us, and it costs the shopper nothing. $20 will send a birthday gift card to Children of the Fallen. We send to just under 1,000 across the nation, representing 44 states. Businesses who are looking for opportunities locally to support, here am I. As I mentioned, we're 501c3. You can go to our website and you can visit all this, see all this information. There's a donate tab there. And we have Fallen Heroes Tree of Honor. There's one in the museum. We're coming back to the next museum. You can get all that information on there too.
So what is your website?
Ourname.org, americasgoldstarfamilies.org. It's that simple.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
This is Patti Rios Smith with American Gold Star Families, and that's the website, right?
.org.
.org. Visit us on PeoriaLife.com. Visit us on YouTube under Peoria Life or Facebook. And thanks again to WPEO for helping us put out the word on the radio. So thank you. Have a good week.
PeoriaLife.com